Hello everybody, this is Johnny, bringing you another hopefully helpful vid today. And what I'd like to talk about today is why we hate ourselves and what to do about it. I think a lot of people think that we hate ourselves because we're not good enough, or we're failing, or we're coming up short in these different areas, whether it's looks or money or, whatever, dude, in life. But I had an epiphany recently when I was delving deep into some pain in my ribs, and I was sort of just sitting there reflecting and meditating on it. And what I experienced was that I didn't hate myself because I fell short. I hated myself because I did not love myself. And now maybe that sounds dumb or cliche, but let's delve a little deeper into that. And what I mean is, my child self, my soul, my spirit, my deepest essence that I've had since I was little and I used to identify with as I was little, I stopped loving him. I stopped caring what he thought, what he felt, what he wanted, what he didn't want, and what other possibility is there other than for that to create a monster? A hating monster that at one time used to be a bright little kid. Of course, not saying all kids are perfect, but probably better than most of us. And yeah, so it became a monster, and it hated me, and it wanted me to die. And it told me it wanted me to work until there was nothing left of me, and it wanted me to be ground into a paste. And man, that sucked. And it told me no matter how hard I tried going forward in my life, that I would not be allowed to have anything good no matter how hard I worked, until I dealt with him. Him being the monster who I ended up finding out that he was my inner child self. So I had to come to an agreement with him, and I had a conversation. My adult self, typically known as Johnny, and my deep child self. And I said, and I was feeling so much pain. He was making me feel so much pain. And what I told him was, okay, I heard you. I've had enough. I don't want to feel this pain anymore. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make things right between you and me, so that you no longer continue to sabotage me and lead me towards my own death and destruction, slowly or quickly. And he didn't want to hear it. Of course, there were some trust issues. But I told him, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I'm strong enough, but I will give every last ounce of my being to making things right with you, to loving you, and that I'm going to stop playing games, and that I was going to commit to loving little Johnny. And I've done love and affirmation work in the past, and it works to a certain degree, but it only works to the degree to which you can let it in. And I know I did, and I know a lot of us have a lot of walls to even being able to let that in. I mean, if we could let it in easily, it wouldn't be such a big practice in the first place. So what I knew I had to do in my deepest heart was I had to stand there as a parent and say, you know what? You can hate me as much as you want, and I will be here. And I commit to loving you. And this is a different version of love than I've experienced in the past with all my self-love exercises. It is the commitment to love of a warrior. It is a no matter what hate you throw at me, no matter what temper tantrum you throw at me, no matter how hard you try to hurt me, I am standing here in my love for you. And honestly, as the days have passed since then, it's been about a week now, every time shame comes up, I love you for that, Johnny. I love you when you feel that way. Every time self-pity comes up, feelings of weakness, helplessness, ugliness, laziness. Johnny, when you are like this, I love you. And when you are like this, I love you. And when you are like this, I love you. And when you are like this, I love you. Every time I feel pain, I feel tension in my chest, my solar plexus, anywhere. I move my attention to that place, sink into the middle of that blackness, that tension, and I say, I love you. Meaning, I love the you that is that pain, that suffering, that shame, that darkness, that contraction of spirit. I think we all like to think that we are one person, and it's either I love myself or I don't love myself, but it's not. We are all, to one degree or another, fractured into a multitude of sub-personalities. Different versions of us. The version of us when we're happy, the version of us when we got a promotion, the version of us when we just got laid with someone we wanted to get laid with. And then the version of us that's ashamed, the version of us that hides away from the world, the version of us that stays quiet when we know we should speak, when we know we should yell, when we know we should scream. And all of those versions of us are a special and important version of us, part of us. And if you cannot say that you love every single one of those parts of you, not from a place of saying, this characteristic is valuable, this is what I need to keep doing in my life, but from a place of piercing through the veil of bullshit, of illusion, that says that that emotion is the identity with which we either ascribe value or deny it. And it's not. The life force in the center of the expression of the blossoming of the emotion, that elemental you-ness behind that, is what we love. We don't love characteristics. We love people's essence. And so, if you have not already done so, I invite you to explore in your body, in your mind, in your thoughts, what would it feel like to commit like a soldier, like a warrior, to love yourself and every part of yourself in every part of your body. Going forward in your life, how would that change things? How would you look at challenges? How would you look at relationships? How would you look at your moment-to-moment experience, your life? Things are changing for me. The black pits are starting to blossom into little flashes of light, brilliant flashes of gold, where before I thought there would forever be a never-ending pit, hopelessness and despair, and then a deep, deep brewing anger. Things are starting to change for me deeply as I've had this epiphany, this death and rebirth of my relationship with my deepest self, little Johnny, my child self. And I gotta say, this feels like a huge turning point for me. And if any of this resonates with you, with one person, I'm so glad, because the love of a warrior is not the same as the love of a coward. So I invite you to ask yourself, if you are loving yourself, if you are loving other people, are you loving them as a warrior? To stand resolute in all powerful experiences and emotions? Or are you loving as a coward? As one who will shift to become anything to make the person they love approve of them? The love of supplication. How are you loving? Johnny out.